And it's me, SkingloNafro, and I'm back to do another YouTube video. Now this one I'm hoping won't be too long, but this one is going to be on my top 10 favourite anime. Now you know I'm a huge fan of anime. I've mentioned it several times on this channel now. So now I decided to finally get down to do my top 10 favourite anime. Finally. I've been putting it off for months, but no more putting it off. Oh, and by the way, thank you for all the subscribers. I'm only 11 subscribers away from hitting my target before the end of the year, which is 500 subscribers, and I am good with that, so thank you. So the first anime, should I say number 10, my number 10 favourite anime is the first anime that I ever actually watched. It's called The Lost Song. It's only one season long and there's only 12 episodes. It's available to watch on Netflix and it's actually really good. It's actually a really good anime. It's cute, it's fun. I feel like it's more targeted towards young children, you know, teenagers, but like I enjoyed watching it. I watched it 2 years ago when I first started watching anime. People was recommending me anime to watch and I decided, you know what, I saw that one on Netflix and I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch that one first. So I did. The line is basically it's called, as you know, it's called The Lost Song. The plot line is basically this character called Rin. She's a young girl. She has this ability where when she sings she can heal people's wounds. And there's this other character called Finis. She also has the ability to sing, but her power is a little bit different. When she sings, she typically tends to, you know, she can sing this one song that will be the destruction of the world, and I'm just like, now there ain't nothing like girl power than singing and destroying the whole motherfucking world. Ain't nothing like it. I put it at number 10 because even though I did enjoy it, there are other animes out there that I did enjoy more. But I do think because this was only 12 episodes long, I may go back and read the manga to it because I do enjoy it. So yep, that is number 10 of my top 10 favourite animes. Number 9 on my list of favourite animes is one called A Silent Voice. Now this one is really interesting because it's quite different to the anime that I usually watch, but I decided to, you know, I watched it for the first time December 31st last year and I finished it January 1st this year because it's 2 hours long and sometimes, you know, I can't concentrate for too long. So sometimes like it's like, okay, it's 2 hours long, so I'll watch the rest of it the next day, which I did. Basically, the plot line is a character called Shoku. She transferred to she went to a school. She's deaf, and basically what happened was she kept getting bullied because she's deaf, and this character Shoya is one of the main characters who was bullying her. She was having her hearing aids ripped out all the time, to the point where her ears actually started bleeding. And she got into a fight with the character Shoya. She got into a like fight, just basically saying to him, I just want to be your friend, like why do you keep picking on me, you know? But like the boy, like, you know how boys can be anyway. I'm not saying his behaviour is right, but you know how boys can be anyway. Like once they target you, they're not trying to be your friend anyway. So basically she gets transferred out of the school, and then a few years later is when you see the characters interact again, when the character Shoya decides, you know what, I've seen her, I'm going to try and make amends, you know, for the behaviour when I was younger. So it's really interesting anyway because the character Shoku, she actually ends up falling in love with the character Shoya, and I actually think Shoya had feelings for her too. Now this is a movie, it's not a series, it's actually a movie available on Netflix, so I do advise watching it. I may actually watch it again at the weekend because I've watched it twice now. Like I said, the first time I watched it over 2 days, and then the second time I watched it, I just watched it all the way through. Now be warned, you know, with Netflix, some of the anime that's on Netflix, it's actually the dub version where it's, you know, the English dub rather than the sub, which is the the Japanese voice actors. When it's the dub, it's the American voice actors. So if you're not interested in watching dub, then I would advise trying to find the silent voice and the lost song on a different platform, because trust me, it can be a bit. 8 of my favorite anime has to be this one called Dr. Stone. This premiered last year, and the new season will be premiering January 2021. So season 2 will be premiering in January. Basically what happened is a flash of light petrified all the people across the world got petrified, and basically like over 3,000 years later, they started to revive. So now it's basically like you're seeing them in like a post-apocalyptic world where they have to learn, how to do things in a different environment in comparison to what they were before. The main character is Senku Ishigami. And he is basically a genius, and he was able to, figure out, even though he was petrified, he was actually counting in his head the amount of years that he was petrified. So it was actually quite weird. You are petrified, in this stone-like state, and yet you are counting in your head like the amount of years that's gone past. Now that's what really intrigued me about this anime, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it, and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to watch it yet, but I decided, you know what, let me go onto Crunchyroll and watch it. And I was actually, impressed with it a lot. So I'm actually looking forward to season 2 when it starts, because yes, I'm looking forward to it. I can't lie. Like, me and anime like this, it's probably because I used to watch a load of cartoons and stuff when I was younger anyway, so it's not really that much different other than the design style, and obviously it's predominantly located in Japan. These mangas and animes anyway, they come from Japan. So yeah, into chemistry and you are into post-apocalyptic shows, you will find this anime interesting, I do believe, because they do teach you things within the anime, just like keep you intrigued. Not one of those ones where it's like, oh yeah, it's like boring. No, they keep you intrigued with it. So it's quite a little cute anime. I do enjoy it. And in season 2, the Stonewalks arc, it's going to be a lot more action than what is in this first one, though. Not to say the first season didn't have a lot of action, because it did. So like I said, if you're into action, chemistry, if you're into post-apocalyptic thing, this is for you, trust me on that. Number 7 of my favourite animes to watch has to be Baki. Now, the original manga is called Baki the Grappler, but the Netflix adaptation is just called Baki, and I have to admit I really like it. Now, the main character Baki, basically he's training to become the world's strongest fighter. Like he wants to take over his papa. You understand me? He wants to take over him daddy, because him daddy is the strongest fighter in the world, and he wants to take over his father. Now, him father come and he said, you know what, I'm gonna try and fight you now, and basically Baki got his ass whipped. Okay, I'm surprised that I didn't put him in a coma, because like, what was the why like why you have to do your son so? We have to do your son so? Bloody hell. If you are into action, martial arts, gore, this is definitely the anime that you need to be watching, plus the manga as well. Because this is the kind of thing, like, I never used to be big on gore, but like from watching anime like this, it's actually like drawing me to that side now, because like when you see it in anime form, it looks so sick. Like, honestly, I absolutely love it. This anime is like one, like up there with my favorite. The fighting scenes, like when you see like people getting punched, but it looks so gruesome. Like, it's so cool to me. I know it sounds mad, but it looks so cool to me. Like how they design it, how like, it's amazing. Honestly, definitely recommend. So that is my number 7 out of my top 10 favorite anime. Number 6 has to be this anime that I saw on Netflix, which is 2 seasons long. It's called Vampire Knight. Now, I'm all about the mythology of vampires and all that kind of stuff, so it really interested me. You know, because I used to be a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and all such and such. So yes, this anime really intrigued me. The main character Yuki was rescued as a child by a vampire, though she didn't know he was a vampire then. And basically that's her earliest memory, though she doesn't really know her, you know, she doesn't really know her background at first, and she starts out as human. In the 2nd season, I believe, if I remember correctly, is when she becomes a vampire. I'm actually kind of disappointed with how the anime ended, only because from what I read, she actually becomes a mother later on in the manga, but obviously because the anime was only 2 seasons long, we didn't get to see her progress into becoming a mother. So it's a bit sad, but you know, at the same time, like the concept of the show is really quite cool. Basically, how do I explain it? It's like she goes to this high school, but it's different. Like there's the day students who go to school during the daytime, and there's the nighttime students who are the vampires who, you know, we see at nighttime. And basically the character Yuki is the one who has to protect the day students from the vampires, so you know there's no intermingling, because basically if the day students become aware of the night students who are vampires, basically the whole experiment is basically over. And I'm like, who thought of this cockamamie thing where you would put humans next to vampires, and vampires love blood and humans are full of blood? Who thought of that? I checked on Netflix last week and this anime is still on there, so I definitely recommend you going to watch. I definitely recommend it. It is one of my favourite animes and I really, really do love it. I do. I can't front. I love it. So number 5, I had to think about this one. Which one did I want to put at number 5? But number 5, I had to put Attack on Titan. I absolutely love this anime called Attack on Titan. Basically, people live in this city, and the city are surrounded by these massive walls. And outside of the walls, there are these humanoid creatures called Titans. And they basically yam up all the people. You understand? They yam them all up. Like, say like me, I get myself some akin saltfish with some boil or some fried dumplings. That's how these humanoids are yamming up these people. That's how those Titans are doing it. And I'm just like, it's so fuckery. Like, I'm like taking off their legs, taking off their arms, putting them in their mouths whole, and I'm just like, Rosted, you just nam them up, so like you couldn't even let them say goodbye first. Like, bloody hell. Like, main character in Attack on Titan is called Eren. Basically, Eren's mother was eaten by a Titan, and Eren basically, you know, he sees it. He originally wasn't going to leave his mother because, you know, he was a child at the time. He wasn't originally going to leave his mother. But, you know, a friend of the family comes and takes him away. And takes the young girl who was living with him as well away from the house. So basically he saw what happened. And his mother couldn't go because she had, I don't know whether it was a problem with her spine or a problem with her legs, but she couldn't move, basically. So yeah, the Titan eats her and Eren sees it, and he basically goes on this mission to, you know, basically get revenge. And, you know, I'm actually quite fuckery. You know, like when I reviewed this show, like when I'm talking about it on Twitter, I'm like, why is this boy always crying? I know it sounds horrible to say, but like he's always crying. Like he cries about things that, like sometimes when he cries, I'm just like, was that anything to cry about? Like, why? Like, I know I'm going to sound really horrible, but like, don't get me wrong, I love this character Eren, but like, sometimes it's just like, bruh, enough of the tears now, because bruh, like seriously, like come on now. But no, it's a really good anime, like, you know, full of gore, like I said, like with Baki, full of gore, full of action, so much action, like you would enjoy it. Now season 4, I believe, is coming later this year, and it's going to be the final season, and let me tell you, I am not happy about that at all. I'm really not happy about that it's the final season. 4 is an anime called Sailor Moon. Now this anime premiered in the 90s, but I didn't really watch animes back in the 90s, so even though I was old enough at the time to watch it, I didn't really watch them back then, so you know, I kind of missed it. I actually only started watching it, I think it was October last year is when I started watching it. I found a website to watch it, and I was so impressed. I'm so late to the Sailor Moon stamp party, but that's why it's at number 4, because I absolutely love this show. I'm currently on a second rewatch, so I'm on season 5, because you know, I just watched them like boom, straight like that. So I'm on season 5, and it's, I wouldn't really say that it's mainly targeted towards girls. However, it is very girl-centered, if you get what I mean. Basically, the plot line is a character called Usagi. She finds out that she's a Sailor Guardian, and you know, her title is Sailor Moon. There's also the characters Sailor Jupiter, Sailor Mars, who's my absolute favourite, because I absolutely love her power. Her power basically is when she, you know, because they can't access their powers when they're in their human, like, you know, human form. So, you know, they change into their outfits, and when Sailor Mars changed into her outfit, her power, you know, is all about fire, and you know, and it makes a lot of sense, because you know, Mars, I would just love to have that power. Like if someone pissed me off, you know, they'll say like sniper, and then this whole load of this arrow, but was made out of fire, and then just shoot them with it. Because I honestly, like, don't piss me off today, because listen, all I have to do is boom, and then you are gone. So Sailor Mars is the hothead. Sailor Moon, Usagi, is basically I don't think she's dumb, but she doesn't apply herself. And I think it's more a case of not having common sense. I don't think she's dumb. You know, like these teenage girls. I don't think she's dumb. She just doesn't apply herself, and she doesn't like to study. So, of course, because she doesn't like to study, she doesn't do well in her school. But when it comes to fighting, like, she's good there. And then there's Sailor Mercury. Sailor Mercury is basically the smartest one. Her clothes are like blue, Sailor Mars is red, and then, like, you know, Sailor Jupiter is green, and then we have Sailor Venus, who is orange. Her colors are orange, and yeah, that's basically the main ones. Those are the main guardians. Those ones that I mentioned, those are the main guardians. So yeah, and also, you know, Usagi has her boyfriend as well, but I ain't gonna mention him. You can watch it, but I ain't gonna mention him, because why? So number 3 is the 7 Deadly Sins. Now, I really enjoy this anime. I really do. However, I have to say, the last season I was not too impressed with, because the anime style of it was horrible in comparison to the first 2 seasons. I did not like it. And I believe that the next season is coming out sometime next year, and I hope that they take their time to produce it and to draw it, because that season I don't believe it should have been aired. I don't think so, because like the anime just didn't make no sense. The fighting scenes was absolutely ridiculous. And the other thing was, like, there was no, like, there's supposed to be, like, it's another one that can be quite gory as well, you know, like demons, all this kind of stuff. I'm looking at my screen while watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, why is the blood white? blood is supposed to be red. Well, it's not really red. It's more like a deep pink color. But like, it didn't look like blood. It was just some like someone. Oh yeah, someone gets cut, and instead of seeing white, it was this kind of. I mean, instead of looking pink, the deep pink color that blood has, it's this off silvery white color that looked very strange. And I'm just like, I know you have not ruined this anime for me. I know you did not ruin this anime for me, for heaven's sake. How dare you? How dare you do that to me? And I wasn't the only one. A lot of people complained about the new season because it was horrible. And I got it on Netflix now because I was actually watching it week by week before it went on Netflix, because, you know, they have a loads of anime websites online. I was just like, no. When I look back at the previous 2 seasons and the movies that they have, the 7 Deadly Sins movies, like, the quality was up there. It looked brilliant. And then this new season, it was really disappointing. It was really, really disappointing. So I'm hoping that when the new season, comes next year, that they do improve upon it. I believe the new season is gonna be last season now. Now the reason why I put this at number 4 is because it's one of my favorite animes. Despite the fact that season 3 wasn't that great, it's still one of my favorite anime because of the plot line. But I do suggest that they work on it, because the studio who did the anime for this new season, like, nah, did you rush it or something? Because bloody don't look nice. It really don't look nice. To talk about my top 2 favorite animes, so number 2 is Bleach. I absolutely love this anime, honestly. Like, basically the character Ichigo, he has this ability to see ghosts, and he doesn't know why he has this ability to see ghosts. It's not explained to you later on in this season why he has that ability, but basically there's this other character, what's her name now? Rukia. Basically what happens is she gets wounded while fighting a hollow. The hollow is basically in the first season, it's basically, you know, the what do I call it, you know, the monster of the week, you know, like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer when they say the monster of the week, basically that's what the hollow is for. Basically the whole of the first season, the monster of the week. And basically Rukia gets injured, and she intends to transfer just a few of her Soul Reaper abilities to Ichigo, but she ends up giving them all to him. He in turn becomes a Soul Reaper, and he has to do these jobs, you know, get rid of these hollows. And, you know, later on in this season, it turns out that he has these hollow abilities within himself because his mother was a... Like, I don't know, it's complicated to explain. Like, I would have to do a full video on it. But, yeah, I absolutely adore this anime. Like, the action sequences are just amazing. However, I will say that this anime is, I believe it's 15-16 seasons long, so it's a long watch. It took me 5 months to finish it when I watched it for the first time last year, and it used to be on Netflix. The first 4 seasons were on Netflix, and it was the English dub, but it's no longer on Netflix now, so you have to watch it online. But you know what, I didn't mind, honestly didn't mind, because like I said, it still took me 5 months to watch because of the length of it. Like, madness. All I'm saying is now is like there's going to be a brand new season of Bleach next year, and all I'm saying from now is that if the characters Ichigo and what's the name, Ichigo and Orihime aren't together, okay, I won't be very impressed, because we know that them two are supposed to be together, okay? I know some of you Bleach stans are shipping Ichigo and Rukia, but no, Rukia clearly is in love with Renji, so stop it, okay? It's Ichigo and Orihime, okay? If them not together, I gon' riot. That's all I'm gonna say about the new season. If them two don't end up together, then I gon' riot. My number one favorite anime has to be called Fullmetal Alchemist. Now there's 2 different Fullmetal Alchemists. The first Fullmetal Alchemist, it basically follows the manga and then it switches up towards the middle of the season. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the one that follows the whole, that follows the that basically follows the manga as close as possible. So this was the first one I watched. Fullmetal Alchemist is the first one I watched, and then I watched Fullmetal Brotherhood. I actually watched the last song first, and then I watched Fullmetal Alchemist, then Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. So yeah, they're really good. It's a really good anime. And one thing that I found very interesting about this anime is that there was a lot of themes of racism within it. But if you are not too aware of it, you may miss it. Yes, there is a lot of themes about racism in there, and discrimination, and you know, child shoulders, and you know, them basically doing things that they should not be doing, but you know, they kind of have no choice because the characters are teenagers. Just like in Bleach, the main characters are teenagers, so it's a bit mad that they had to do all this kind of stuff when they're so young themselves, and they may not have a true understanding of it, but yet they do it anyway. Now the main characters are Al and Edward, and basically they do shit that they shouldn't be doing, and Edward basically loses his leg and his arm, and Al basically loses his whole body, but his brother is able to attach his soul into the arm of, like, you know, an armored suit or something like that. I'm trying to think what it is now. It's definitely a show that I recommend you watch, an anime that I recommend you watch, because it is really a good watch. But like, people who are aware, you know, the racism will piss you off. I won't even lie, the racism will piss you off. So that's a fair warning from now. It will piss you off. So that's basically it. The racism will piss you off. Anyway, that is the end of my top 10. That is the end of my top 10 favorite anime. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I should be back tomorrow for some more YouTube videos. Alright, I gone. Bye.